as an actress myself, I've had moments where I'm so in the moment that I don't even remember what I did. And those turned out to be the most powerful because they were honest, because you have no recollection what you did. It's crazy, but it happens.
How do you get the best out of your actors?
Working with them before, trying to have those rehearsals are very key, because I know nowadays, and even we Caitlin, we have very little time when we were on set, but I already knew she was good, and I could ask her for things on the spot, on the moment. But like, if you can have the time to go in and rehearse and work with them, I think that's key. I've been in productions where the director didn't want to rehearse before a scene, which is fine. It was his take. And also I understand why, because sometimes when you rehearse too much a scene, then it doesn't flow, it's not as natural, and you can miss moments. So I understand why. But for me, a little bit of rehearsal is key, just to give them some direction. So then when they're on set, they're not just like, oh, what do I do now?
What's the most constructive thing a director can say to an actor?
I think they could tell if the performance is not going the way the director wants. I think you should tell them, give me your take. Let the actor have his own take and see what he or she has to offer to the table. I think that's very powerful. And nowadays, because we're filming digitally, it's not on film, we can do that, and the take works, we'll use it. If it doesn't work, you don't need to use it. But it's always very interesting to see, what does this actor have to say? Where does this person want to go? So just, if you have the time, like, let them explore that. And if that's not where you wanted to go, you direct them. It's like, no, this is not what I wanted to do. Let's go back to the beginning, or let's give me another kind of outcome.
And then are there times when it's good for them to say nothing? To just let them be?
Absolutely. I think those are the most powerful performances, when you're so in the moment that you don't even, as an actress myself, I've had moments where I'm so in the moment that I don't even remember what I did. And those turned out to be the most powerful because they were honest, because you have no recollection what you did. It's crazy, but it happens.
How do you find the heart of a scene when you're running out of time?
Oh, that's a good one, because that happened to us in Abrazo. When we shot the first scene, it's a one take. I don't know if you remember. It's a one take. I'm not going to give it away, but one of the characters goes out, comes out of the house, goes back in. It's a whole one take, and we were doing it. It had to be when the sun was setting, because that was the lighting that we needed. So I think we only did it 2 or 3 times, because we had that rush moment to get in it. But luckily, because we had already practiced with her in advance, everything kind of worked. And in the end, there was one take that we could use. So again, rehearsing and practicing for me, it's important.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And the wind and just different parts of the film that showed kind of who she was.
And again, for example, in that scene, she wasn't supposed to swear, and it just came so natural for her. And it was so good. I was like, yes. So we kept it. It was great. It was her being honest to her instincts. Like, that's what I felt like. And I think after she was like, I'm sorry. I was like, no, please, we're going to keep it. That was great.
What's the most challenging scene you've had to direct, and how did you get through it?
I want to say the most challenging was when I did my first short film in New York, because we had 2 little girls. And they were like, I want to say 5 and 8 years old. And so I remember at the end of the day, one was very tired and she was cranky. She didn't want to do this scene. So I was like, okay, like, this is a whole different world to work with kids, which I had already been warned, like kids and animals, it's hard, it's a different thing. But I learned, you just got to be patient with them, because they have their moments, and then she's not out of it. We just play with her for like 5 minutes, kind of make her like forget about the whole thing, and then we got her back on set, and I was like, okay, now we're gonna do it, so you just gotta, at that moment was more patience and understanding that you're not talking with an adult actor that knows what they're doing, but it's a kid, and the kid maybe wants to play, or the kid maybe is hungry, or maybe doesn't feel like doing the scene anymore. So just patience.
What do you expect out of the actors that you work with?
To be kind, to be compelling, and to be true to themselves. But most important, have a good time, on set, you know, to just be, that's the way I was raised, and that's, you know, I always try to be that person on set, just to be open, you know, to be in an environment with a lot of people and just to be present.
And without getting too negative, but I'll kind of go there. You know, especially here in LA, sometimes there's a confusion between being kind and being either weak or fake. How do you balance that? I
think in LA, and in general in the States, you know, we have this idea of success, right? And that in order to be successful, you need to be this person, you need to have a house, you need to have this kind of car, you need to, and it's a very capitalistic idea that comes, you know, with living in America, and, you know, it's a capitalistic country. And I think sometimes we forget that what's the meaning of success, you know, and like for me, after having 2 children, and I always say, for me, a success is being the mother to them. You know, they're my biggest project right now at the moment, you know, and I could tell Jamie, like, if something happened that I don't get to be a filmmaker, I'm just so happy being their parent, you know, it's like, and this is, I think, and again, with the whole thing of being a full-time parent and having pressure from society, be like, oh, you need to be working, it's like, no, you know, because that's an idea that people have of success, you know, that's an idea that have been thought to people as like, and sometimes your idea of happiness and your idea of success is not other people's idea.
Right, and being a kind person and an optimist, do you ever bump up against someone that maybe is a little more hardened and you have to show them that you're still strong, but you can still be kind and strong at the same time? Yes,
and I think I want to say that my husband is a realist. I would say he's a realist, and I'm an optimist. And I think that's what we match so well, because he keeps me grounded and I give him dreams, you know. And I think that happens, you know, with many people. And I feel like for good, for us, it's good. It works. It really works.
What's your process for working with actors and directing them?
Casting is very important. When I did that for Abrazo, I remember we casted about 10 different women, and we knew was Caitlin because she was so easygoing and honest in her audition, and it's just very easy to work with her. And I was like, oh, she's perfect, because one, she's already knows what to do. She already knows the character. She understood the character, so I don't have to direct her much. And as a director who's also on camera with her, that's what you want. You want someone that you don't have to do much, because you already have it. So that's casting, I think, is the most important process, to see the other person, to see how they work, and then to be like, okay, you need very little direction. You're perfect for the role.
Yeah, after I watched it, I went and looked her up, because I was taken away with her performance.
Oh, so. She's amazing.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll leave it at that, because you want to dislike her, but there's a likable.
No, and when you meet her, she's so lovely. Like, I remember she was so warm and very inspired by the script in the audition, and it was Erica and myself casting, and she was so nice. You know, she's an actress. She was like, oh, you're an actress yourself. And the moment she left, Erica and I looked at each other, was like, she's the one. She's like, yes.
Yeah.
And talent, yes, talent was a big part, but also just being so nice and available. I was like, oh, I want to work with people like that.
Right, but she went to places that you needed her to. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
And so she had those layers to her, which was...
Yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah, it made me look her up and be like, oh, wow, she's interesting. I like her. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Here is a complimentary question from our book Story Questions.